Protests have become a very common sight in Europe. Just a few days ago, Czech Republic saw one hell of an uprising against EU and NATO due to the after effects of the Ukraine war. This is becoming a very common happening in the EU, where common Europeans are issuing a clarion call to end the nonsensical sanctions on Russia. Now, one more nation is heading the same way. This country was lured by the West. It was promised big gifts if it decided to take up arms against Russia. However, the country is now expressing its discontent. A populace of 40,000 has decided to overthrow the government of Moldova, and West's so-called support is nowhere to be seen. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm the group founder Atul Mishra, and if you haven't subscribed to the TFI Global channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon, and please receive all the latest updates. Let's begin. The 18th of September 2022 was a black day for Chisinau. According to Reuters, thousands of protesters demanded resignation of pro-Western President Maya Sandu and her government. Reportedly, the protesters have denounced high inflation and fuel prices outside government's office. Protesters have accused Sandu of failing to negotiate a more reasonable gas price with Moscow. As of now, the protesters have set up their camps outside government headquarters and vowed to remain there until Sandu resigns and early elections are called. Well, what a fall this has been for Sandu. In 2020, the Moldovan president got elected with a landslide mandate. After getting elected, Sandu pledged to root out corruption and fix the economic conditions of the nation. But without a shadow of doubt, we must say that she has failed miserably. Hurt by record high inflation of 34.3%, the country has slashed its growth estimate to zero for the year 2022. This month, Prime Minister Natalia Gavrilita predicted that Moldova's GDP will expand by just 1.5% the next year. The cost of energy has increased by 29% in September after surging almost 50% in August. According to opposition in Moldova, Moldova is now in clinical death, to which the current authorities have brought it. The general populace has the same opinion. Under Maya Sandu, Moldova is certainly a decaying society. Now, a general query must be appearing in your minds. All went okay in Moldova up until last year. Then how did one of the most appreciated leaders overnight turn into such a despised figure for Moldovans? The answer is Sandu's anti-Russia stance under West's influence. Among the voices of discontent against Sandu, there are also calls for restoring ties with Russia. Moldova used to buy its gas from Russian gas giant Gazprom under a contract drawn up last year. However, Sandu's fondness for West has spurred extreme troubles for Moldovans. Energy prices have soared this year due to Chisinau's blind support of EU sanctions against Russia. But still, Parliament Speaker Igor Grosu announced in June that Moldova is ready to join EU's new sanctions against Russia. Protesters charge Sandu with failing to negotiate with Moscow for lower gas prices. But Maya Sandu, the president, went so far as to criticize Russia's actions in Ukraine. She did everything she could to increase her country's chances of joining the EU. Sandu even declared a state of emergency for 60 days as she wanted extra power to handle the consequences of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. As NATO extended support to her motion, she had her eyes fixed on the Transnistria territory, which was once part of Moldova with strong ties to Russia, and now it intends to join it. NATO promised to provide Moldova with stronger military equipment, replace Soviet-era weapons, and train Moldovan troops on Western platforms. A move that could have easily angered Moscow, but Russia kept silent. Early elections are now in sight in Moldova. The West implanted explosives to somehow promote anti-Russia sentiment in Moldova, and tragically, Sandu fell into its trap. In an effort to get EU membership, Sandu did everything she could to entice the West. However, it appears that the population has made up its mind to remove her from office.